So it means that we are all excited about the idea of our schools being painted blue and white. Well, that's nice. Can I have my microphone, please? I mean, I think that government experiments with lots of things, and the CPP person seems to be nodding. I like your smoke, by the way. Yeah. He seems to be nodding in agreement that it's cool to have our schools painted blue and white. So at this juncture, if all is cool, you want to have a go? Okay. If we are all seated, I'd like to commence the program officially if everything is done. Right. So, with a round of well, the person whose name I'm saying for the opening prayer is surprising me, but well, people do change. I mean, sometimes, sometimes you see somebody at church or at a certain event and you are wondering, but as well. So, for the opening prayer, with a round of applause, we are inviting Asamoah Christian in Perry. I don't know why there are A's in the room, but from what I have, he's the one to say the opening prayer for us. And with a round of applause, please. It's not easy to pray to lead such a gathering. Yeah. Now I am confident I have a seat in heaven. Very, very confident. Well done, well done, well done. Yeah, heaven is rejoicing, yeah.
Good evening. Better of duties with that but for the occasion, I think I should go with it. Shall we all rise in prayer so we can just have a word and then go? Just like I was taught in primary, I would say eyes closed so that we can all pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you this evening. We thank you once again for giving us strength and life. While we're about to commence our program, we pray that you come and join us here, and then everything that we're going to do a success. There's a minimum we pray in your name. Amen.
All right. Thank you. That was a short one. Yeah. So I'm sure that most of you will be wondering what the Legions group is. There are a lot of questions: who they are, what they do, what they're about, when it was started, and what's the plan for the group. I'm in no position to do that. So with a round of with a round of applause. Thank you. With a round of applause, we want to welcome a gentleman who will give us the reason why we are gathered, the reason why political parties have been brought together for young people to understand what the policies and what the policy framework and what the direction of the new country will be. If we have Mr. Wales Kobi Idrisu, he's the executive director of the Legions Group. So with a round of applause, if we have Mr. Wales here, we'd like him to give us.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, fellow citizens, good evening and welcome to Ghana Speaks Debate. As the Executive Director of the Legions, it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as we embark on this journey. The Legions, our organization, is a youth-led group that stands as a beacon of hope, a platform for change, and a voice for the voiceless. We believe in the power of conversation to ignite transformation in not only the Ghanaian political landscape, but also on the African continent. Tonight, gathered in this esteemed hall, we witness the embodiment of that belief as we engage in the Ghana Speaks debate. Allow me to seize this opportunity to discuss the Legions. In less than a year ago, a group of young professionals who used to randomly meet and discuss national issues made a bold decision to formalize our gatherings and establish ourselves as an organized civil society organization. At the Legion, our core operations and value revolve around accountability, truth, inclusion, and equity. It is because of these principles that we are committed to fostering Ghana's growth. We aspire not only to be just another civil society organization, but to become a significant force advocating for a seat at the table, particularly in the youth development initiatives. The debate is not just a clash of opinions and a battle of wits. It is a testament to our commitment to fostering understanding and championing the exchange of ideas amongst the major political parties in Ghana, especially regarding policies concerning the youth. It is a celebration of diversity, where voices from all walks of life come together to enrich our collective consciousness. As we delve into the heart of tonight's discussion, let us remember the significance of our words and the impact they hold. Let us approach each argument with respect, each rebuttal with grace, and each moment with an open mind. For it is through the cubicle of the debate that we can refine our political understanding. It is here we challenge our assumptions and emerge stronger, wiser, and more united than before as a people. The theme of tonight's debate is not just a topic for discussion. It is a call to action and a rally cry for change in the Ghanaian political landscape. It beckons us to confront the pressing issues facing the youth of the country today, to confront these never-ending challenges in our various sectors of our economy and lives with courage, compassion, and conviction. It challenges us to look beyond ourselves, to listen to those whose voices have been marginalized in the crafting of our policies, and to stand in solidarity with the oppressed and downtrodden. As we go through the inaugural Ghana Speaks debate, let us remember the values that unite us: integrity, empathy, and a relentless pursuit of truth for the Ghanaian people. Let us strive not only to win arguments, but to build bridges. Not only to assert our opinion, but to amplify the voices of the unheard. Not to only defend our beliefs, but to embrace the richness of the diversity as Ghanaians. In closing, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of those who have made this event possible. Put your hands together. The team at Legions, the political parties, students' leadership, and the participants. I want to say thank you again. Together, let us seize this moment. Let us seize this opportunity. And let us use this Ghana Speaks debate to unleash the full potential of our collective humanity as Ghanaians, so that we can make value-laden policies that will be advantageous to the youth. Thank you, and may the conversations begin.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wills. Can we have another round of applause for him? And thank you to all those who've joined us online. There are a lot of people who are joining the feed online. Thank you for joining us. You can also use your phones to tweet, to make Facebook posts. Just tag us, or the hashtag would be the Ghana Speaks debate. Remember that social media is a powerful tool for yourself and for us all. Now, at this juncture, I would plead that we all stand on our feet. We want to take the Ghana national anthem. So we are using the minutes to observe the national anthem of our dear country as they cue. So if we can sing the national anthem together, I'll be proud. It's even better that way. Yes, so for those of us who went to primary school, 3, 2, 1, go. You so much. You can have your seat. At this point, we'll be inviting the moderator for the debate. And I'm glad that this is an honor that is due me, because this is an individual I have known for some time now. He was my senior back in secondary school, my colleague in the professional journey. And I must say, somebody who has a lot of understanding and grasp of our body politics and the political terrain of this country. He's a journalist and a reporter with the Media General Group. He started somewhere with Star in the EIB group. He's a journalist with over 5 years' experience. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, I want to welcome Ghana's bright, new Komala Dumo. I am inferring the name onto him. Yes, his name is Eric Mawina Egbeta. With a round of applause, he will be our moderator for the debate today. So ladies and gentlemen, your moderator, your audience.
Right. I'm not sure all of that accolade was necessary, but thank you all the same. We're going to start pretty shortly, and I must mention that I'm really excited to be here for the first ever of such debates, putting the youth in perspective in terms of conversations that should shape what our democracy should be. And so I'm really excited to be here and to be the one to have to moderate this particular session. I'm going to have to invite Titus to do the introduction of the respective political parties and movement which is present here, will be part of this particular conversation. And after Titus does that, we're going to have 5 minutes handed to each of them to speak to policies, initiatives based on political party manifestos. We know the parties are crafting their manifestos, and it's not been formed properly yet, but there's been different ideas that's been churned out from the respective political parties. I know the Movement for Change makes the argument of a great transformational plan. The NDC is championing the 24-hour economy. The NPP's Dr. Baumia is leading the charge as well with the digitalization agenda. And we'll get to understand, because the CPP is yet to have a flag bearer of their own, what their ideas is and what they are putting together. And so I will invite Titus to do us the honors in introducing the respective parties and movements present, and then we can proceed quickly in terms of the engagement with young minds as to what we expect Ghana to be, at least for the next 4 years. We'll have a debate as to whether or not we need a development strategy or a development plan. But Titus, if you're here, please come do us the honors and introduce the respective participants.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. I stand on all existing protocol to say thank you very much. and thank you all for honoring the Ghana Speaks Debates invitation. I am here to introduce the reps for the various political parties, with our first guest representing the New Patriotic Party, NPP, with a robust background in political campaigns, community engagement, and political party membership. Vincent has a proven track record of driving impactful change and fostering inclusive environments. Vincent has developed his skills through a variety of positions, including managing students' elections at Brunel University, coordinating campaigns for political parties, and overseeing youth employment programs. He holds 2 MSc degrees in economics and political campaign from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and the University of Aberdeen. Sorry if I mentioned the name wrongly. Respectfully, Vincent's expertise lies in stakeholder engagement and campaign management. He's a political mug, servant, and is boisted by a passion of civil education and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Vincent Ofori, campaign coordinator for the New Patriotic Party. A round of applause for him. Representing the National Democratic Congress, NDC, who is also the chairperson for the NDC Lab Youth Committee for the 2024 manifesto, he is Julian Mause Kobina. Julian Mause Kobina is a leading voice in the Ghanaian youth advocacy with a strong background in students' leadership and political engagement. He has made a significant contribution to various national initiatives and campaigns. Key positions and achievements of Julian is being the member of the 2020 NDC campaign team, played a crucial and pivotal role in the strategic planning and execution of the National Democratic Congress campaign during the 2020 general elections. He's also the spokesperson of Youth Affairs of the National Democratic Congress NDC 2020 People's Manifesto, acted as the spokesperson of the youth-related policies and initiatives in the NDC's People's Manifesto during the 2020 election. He's the chairperson of the NDC Lab Youth Committee for the 2024 manifesto, currently leading the NDC Lab Youth Committee in crafting policies and perspicacious proposals for the party's manifesto in the upcoming 2024 general elections. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Julian Mause Kobina, representing the National Democratic Congress. Oh, don't you think this deserves a worthy applause? Yeah. Representing the Movement for Change, we have Michael Safo Kantanka. Wow. Michael Safo Kantanka is a young Ghanaian development practitioner and an entrepreneur passionate about human development. He turned 33 on 18th April, and he is the founder and team lead for the Modern, a thriving smoke making business that produces hand-woven smokes for both local and international markets, and has co-founded a number of startups. His career has been one driven by a quest to elevate totally the troubles of humans, systems, and institutions, which then makes education and work into the development sector a wise and almost inevitable option of him. He holds a Master of Science degree in Public Health Monitoring and Evaluation from the University of Ghana, Legon, and Bachelor's degree in Integrated Community Development from the University of Development Studies. He is currently pursuing Master of Health, Industry and Administration at the prestigious Schlich Business School at York University in Canada. He has been trained and is a certified collaboration coach by the World Bank under the pilot project Community Performance-Based Financing, where he served as the field coordinator and technical advisor to various stakeholders like Ghana Health Service, Regional Coordinating Council, National Health Insurance Authority, and the District Coordinating Council of these institutions. Prior to his role on the World Bank project, he had gained considerable number of years experience into various developmental projects in the country and in different countries as well. He led a team of collaborative resource management officers on the Ghana Landscape Restoration Project in 2022, to form a number of community resource management areas and protected area management boards around the Mole National Park as part of the project's models for livelihoods. As his passion directs him to yield to the call of Honorable Alan Chermatin, Mr. Safo Kantanka currently plays significant roles in the movement for change, and he provides technical inputs for strategy formulation for operations and communications. A frontline communications member and the coordinator for the campaign's monitoring and evaluation system. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Michael Safo Kantanka. Representing the Convention People's Party, CPP, Comrade S.A. Hammond. With a robust background in political campaigns, community engagement, and political party, Vincent has a proven track record of driving impactful change and fostering inclusive environments. Vincent has developed his skills through a variety of positions, including managing student elections at Brunel University. I think I said all, Vincent. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, now representing United One Ghana, we have Magba Ejay Samuel. Thank you very much. I think some of the political parties' reps are not here. We only have these political parties, and I'm to introduce the last one that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, now representing the CPP, that is the Convention People's Party, Comrade S.A. Hammond. With a robust background in political campaigns, community engagement, and political party membership, Comrade Hammond has a track record of driving impactful change and fostering inclusive environments. Mr. Hammond has developed his skills through a variety of positions, including managing so many things within the CPP as a political party. Ladies and gentlemen, respectfully, I welcome on stage the rep for the Convention's People Party, Mr. S.A. Hammond. A round of applause for him. Thank you very much. In recent times, we've got to know the ordinary Ghanaian is suffering. And you get to know how the aged, students, workers, and in total citizens are screaming all in the name of economic hardship. You and the one watching us live will shiver in fear. And these gallant personalities are here to debate give us tangible and perfect solutions to most of the problems we are facing as Ghanaians. And I am happy and thrilled to introduce these wonderful personalities as the reps for these political parties. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Right then, thank you, Titus, for the introduction. And so I'm flanked both sides by reps from the various political parties, and then there's a movement involved as well. And so it's very important that we notify or make you all aware that it's a movement and not a political party. They are forming a wonderful alliance as well, nitpicking individuals from respective groupings and parties, some would say, because I know someone from the PNC has joined as well. We're going to start, and we'll start with, like I mentioned, 5 minutes each handed out to these various representatives in detailing what they believe are possible solutions that should help the country at this particular point in time. When you heard Titus introduce the respective individuals, he sought to allude to certain difficulties currently present. I don't want to enter into any of that in seeking to prejudice the conversation. And I'll just ask that if you could keep time for me, I'm going to give everybody 5 minutes. I'll try and keep the time myself, but 5 minutes each. And I'm going to start with, from my far right, that is Michael Safo Kantanka with the Movement for Change. It's just one microphone, or there could be a lot more? It's just one, so I have to toss it. Okay, there's two, right. So we're going to start with Mr. Safo Kantanka with the Movement for Change. 5 minutes, walk us through what you believe is ideal in helping to turn the fortunes of this country around.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I cannot continue this without acknowledging my brother, Lawyer Duke Aaron Sasu. He's the spokesperson for the case. Actually, he is supposed to be here. Yes, I salute you. And to colleagues, yes, we are here because of Ghana and because of the youth. We young people, you and I, our prospects, our aspirations, and our resolve to see Ghana work out the way it ought to, and the way we all are going to benefit from it. And so for we at the Movement for Change, we think and believe we have the answer to the current difficulty, the current situation we find ourselves, where nothing seems to make sense to anybody, where our development has seen such retrogression. The country keeps running into a ditch because of our insistence to go with the way of the duopoly. You all agree that we are not in the best of situations. Our livelihoods are not the best as it ought to, accounting the fact that God has blessed us with so much, just so much. We are endowed with natural resources here and there, but what do we see? Wastage, depleting of our resources. You know, a governance structure that is toxic, so toxic and so divisive, especially when you're looking at what has been happening in the last 32 years, where we've had two sets of people superintend over the development of this country. You know, you look at Ghana and you ask yourself, where is the country headed? You get to the airport, it's 7:42. By 8 o'clock, go to the terminals. You see Ghanaians, young people leaving the shores of the country. Why are they leaving? To find greener pastures. You hear them say it's been going on every now and then, but the rate at which it's happening, you know, I'm here to appeal to your senses. I'm here to appeal to your reasoning as young people. I'm here to stir and ignite this this feeling of urgency. You know, there's this there's this attitude where Ghanaians have gotten to, so that we are not concerned about whatever happens in our political realm, whatever happens with leadership, whatever happens with our politicals. It should be your concern, young people. It should be our concern. And that's why the Honorable Alan Tremati, in his wisdom and in his pursuit, has put young people at the core of his campaign and at the core of the beneficiaries of his policies. What are his policies? He says the whole world changed because of four different levels of an industrial revolution. And so if we are going to come out of this current impoverishment, where unemployment rate, according to the Human Development Report for 2023, it's still at an all-time high. Ghana faces a dire situation where you can't afford to be indifferent as a young person. You know why? Because 73% of our population are under the age of 35. What does that tell you? It tells you that it is you and my fate that is being toiled with. And it's about time we showed concern. It's about time you joined this movement that has now formed an amalgamation called an Alliance for Revolutionary Change with like-minded people who are positioned at such a point in our country's history to reverse and to reset the country, to reverse the mess that we've been beholding for the past 32 years. And that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
To herald the good news of Alan Tremati. Thank you so much.
5 minutes for Mr. Kantanka, and we'll get into the respective areas after they are done with their initial addresses. 5 areas, 1 hour, 30 minutes, where we'll seek to be able to get as much from them as possible in terms of solutions and what they understand can make this country better from the perspective of young people. I'm going to move to Mr. Vincent Ofori now. 5 minutes as well for you in being able to espouse what you believe are solutions possibly.
Good evening to you all. It's rather unfortunate. I mean, our brother from the Fronto has been with us 7 good years. Did not see all the things he's talking about today. A few weeks into election, he's coming out with all this. But I mean, it's all good. I mean, we came to power in 2017. In fact, when we took over power as a political party, there were so many things that were in our mess that we need to fix. It took us our hard-working men to take us through most of the mess that has been caused by the previous administration. We came to meet a health sector that does not even have ambulance for some district. I mean, can you imagine? It took us almost 60 years to provide ambulance for some of our hospitals. These are some of the mess we came to meet in power. But moving forward, we've been able to make a whole lot of improvement. We were able to provide ambulances for hospitals that were not having ambulances. We have about 111 districts across the country that do not have hospital facilities. That is a district hospital. Now, the whole idea was that if you look at the hospitals that we have, it's not that this district does not have hospitals or health facilities, people could go there and then seek medical attention. But what happened is that they don't have referral hospitals. So, for example, if you are living in a district like Himalaya, let's say Himalaya don't have any referral hospital in terms of district hospitals where you can go. What we did was that we realized that, I mean, COVID exposed almost everything in our health sector. So as an urgent need, we realized that we need to do all these things to make the country work better. Now, elections are here again. And we are here not just as a political party that has ruled for 7 years, but we are here to tell you where we want to take Ghana, the future that we all build. The truth is that we build nations based on aspirations, visions, and missions. What the New Patriotic Party believes through Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is that the world is a global village. The world is developing at a very fast pace. Where we are now, we need to come together and build a nation that can compete with our neighbors, not just our neighbors in Africa, but across the globe. What we are saying is that we are going to prioritize digitalization. We are going to we plan on improving our digital infrastructure to the tune that we'll be able to employ close to about 1 million youth through ICT. We are not ending there. We are also saying that if you are a young person and you have any idea or if you have any vision to build any company, we are going to help you through YouStart. The Youth Employment Agency recently launched a program on employment. It is, when you look at what we are doing in terms of employment, what we are saying is that we have a chunk of most of our youth who don't even get the opportunity to go to the university or even to senior high school. So what we are targeting is that with Youth Employment Agency, we are giving these people hand-on skills. We are helping them, putting them through apprentice, where we've been able to introduce free education. I mean, free education may have its own challenges. We might all agree it needs improvement, but not a review. It needs improvement. I must be specific. It needs improvement. What we are saying is that we are going to improve free SHS. We are not going to leave it there. We are improving by bringing in TVET. I think as we go on, we'll be able to espouse most of the policies that we wish to sell to Ghanaians in order for them to give us another nod to rule the nation.
Right. Thank you very much. I get the indication that the United One Ghana as well has a rep now present, and so I'll have to vacate this particular podium to make way for the rep. We'll do a quick introduction and then perhaps hand him the microphone, do his 5 minutes, then I continue in that particular order. But is he here? He's on his way. He should be here any moment from now. He's actually here, and so he's making an entry. Okay. While we wait for his arrival, I'll move to Comrade Hammond and pick his thoughts as well, and ask that he also provides,
thank you very much,
what he believes should be done in respect to the transformation of this particular country. You have the floor.
Good evening. Good evening once again, fellow citizens of Ghana, fellow citizens of Africa. Today happens to be a very historic day in the lives of all scientific socialists, all Pan-Africanists, all Africans, and all Ghanaians, most especially members and sympathizers of the Convention People's Party. 52 years ago, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, while on his sick bed in Romania, drew his last breath today and joined our ancestors as a wealthy, watchful ancestor. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the most illustrious son of Africa, 52 years ago. Today, 27th April 1972, Osajifo died in Romania. The man who laid his life for Ghana, the man who laid his life for Africa and all black people, drew his last breath today. Fellow citizens of Africa, fellow Ghanaians, I entreat you to share with me this moment, even as you stand up, a minute of silence whilst we remember this most illustrious son of Africa. Thank you very much. Take your seats. I go by S.A. Hammond. S for Safo, A for Edu, and H, obviously, for Hammond. We in the Convention People's Party, we started this thing, and we say that we are the only party with a blueprint that can continue this Ghana dream. The dream that has been truncated for 52 years when the obnoxious CIA-backed unwanted coup happened in 1966. It is only the Convention People's Party that understand that you need a healthy population to build a country. Our track record is there to show we have. It is only the Convention People's Party that understood industrialization, and for the 9 years of Asajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's government, the government that he led, Convention People's Party, there were 152 industries set up across Ghana. Numerous universities set us across Ghana. Secondary schools. We are talking about a healthy mind for nation building. It is the Convention People's Government that set up Okonfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital and the Ghana Medical School. Because we in the Convention People's Party, we know and we understand that the most precious resource of every nation is the human resource. And therefore, we spend our energy, our resources to build the Ghana. You can go back and ask people who enjoyed this era how Ghana was and how Ghana is now. Everybody will attest to the fact that Ghana was on the path, rubbing shoulders with countries like Malaysia, Singapore, and what. Today, we cannot compete with anyone. Today, if we don't get foreign donors, we cannot even pay ourselves. Today, we are being told that SNIT has no resources to pay people in 12 years to come. This is the Ghana that the duopoly has brought us to. The Ghana that every young person wants to live. The Ghana that we are not proud of. Today, patriotism is at its all-time low. Zero. Young people say, let's sell the country and share the money. In fact, if you sell this country, you will pay the debtors because we are in debt. Our debt to GDP is at its all-time high. Inflation, I will not talk about this. I'm a businessman. I'm in the printing and branding industry. You cannot give quotation to a client because tomorrow, just as you turn back, prices has risen up. You might not even have profits. But this is the Ghana that the duopoly has brought us to. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow brothers, fellow citizens of Africa, I call you fellow citizens of Africa because the Convention People's Party. My time is up?
Yes.
Oh,
You used a part of it for and it was significant and very important as well. But I'll move on to Mr. Mausi Kobina with the NDC.
Hello, everyone.
And ask that he also does 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. I send greetings from John. I get that the context of this is to discuss the future of young people here. We should make it intellectually stimulating. It should be deliberative. I'll put the problem statement so you understand where we are as a country. Forget about politics. As young people, what your heritage is in this country, what the problem is, and what John Mahama is promising to do for you. We don't take some of this platform for you, because this is how we want to run our campaign, reach people to reach people. The Ghana population census says that young people between 15 and 34 make up about 65-70% of the country's population. Huge, that is manpower. Out of that, the JSS report 2022 says that 2.5 million of that population are out of school without jobs, no skills. If you expand that report to include vulnerable work means those people who are not in structured employment. They are not on pension period, they don't have access to credit. They are over 5 million. It means that in this country, people, your age, our age mates, without jobs, there are over 5 to 6 million people in this country without jobs. It speaks to the kind of heritage we are transferring to the next generation. It also tells us that the democracy of our country is on a pandemic junction that it can collapse, because the World Bank report says that these young people are getting much more vigilante, they are getting much more radical, and they are being used as recruitment points for violence. And you can see that there another research in the Langas you see and a big problem in the Republic. You finish the university, big beautiful school, without access to job. The number of people that come out from the university every year are over 150,000. They don't have access to jobs. What is John Mahama saying? Our statement for us today is to discuss what is the vision for the candidates in the next election about how to make sure that young people have access to participate in this country's future. John Mahama is promising young people, one, access to proper quality education and knowledge streams. How to make sure that we are going to jog people wherever you are born, irrespective of where you are born, whatever your abilities are, the country's state resources give you the power to go through, have quality education at all levels to the university. And I'll demonstrate in the subsequent conversation how you're going to do that. Number two, what John Mahama's next government is going to do is to how to augment our school-to-work transition. The MPP has failed miserably. And they are telling you even that even the job of managing in high schools, they have failed. They're going to make it optional. And that's our only state-sponsored machinery to augment your school-to-work transition, to give you skill sets to job. Failed. They don't have any vision, they don't have any plan, and they are going to collapse it. I will demonstrate to you how our campaign, the next government under John Mahama, will deliver for you young people a proper school-to-work transition to make sure that you are employable, you start your company, and make sure that you become a proper heritage in our country's development program. Job creation program. What are we saying? SMEs globally, everywhere in the world, are the infrastructure of economies. Our SMEs are not well. We started gratis in the 90s. The NDC has always been the baby of SME. We're going to provide for you, provide resources of the state, provide you advisory services. We are going to ready to bloom. When you have ideas, how can you jog the ideas to make sure that they become a unicorn? So that here in GI, somebody can build up the biggest company that we are expecting.
Mr. Mausi, thank you very much for 5 minutes as well. I'll hand the microphone, even though I'm not there. I'll ask that it be passed on to Mr. Makban Aye Samuel with the United One Ghana movement. He, as well, is expected to provide 5 minutes for us in terms of what we believe the United One Ghana movement believes is a solution to current challenges as we're experiencing right now in the country, and what the solution is for young people. 5 minutes.
Thank you. Hello to everyone. As a matter of fact, it is interesting and sometimes amazing seeing how our political parties, both NDC and NPP, managed to fuse into the current youth beautiful words to believe that there's a future with both NDC and NPP, looking at what they've done over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you a special greeting from our leader, Mr. Alfred Kwame Esiedu Walker, and his national executives. Well, we don't believe in just speaking, telling Ghanaians what the NDC or NPP leaders think they can do for Ghana as at this point, because they have done it before, we've seen it, and nothing proper came out of it. We are at a point where Ghana is crying and needs someone to rescue Mother Ghana. We've been touring this country and we know what is going on. For Ghana to move on, there are a lot of things to be done. Looking at our agriculture sector, we have leaders saying they are growing, foods for this country. But trust me, I don't know the number of us here seeing what the NPP as at now in government has shown to us in terms of planting foods for the country. I have traveled far and near this country, and there is nothing to show. Even the little to show is having a lot of challenges. I have traveled all the way to Drobo, and could you believe you find plantain well-prepared plantain for the market. But unfortunately, because we don't have proper roads to transport those foods to our cities, you meet vehicles struggling to do so. Our hospitality system is another thing. We are always believing the fact that this is a country with a lot of tourist attractions, tourist sites for people, for diasporas to have a good experience of. Just 2 days ago, I was watching a video on social media and somebody was interviewed by a very popular YouTuber from this country, and this lady shares the pain she goes through establishing a business in Ghana as a foreigner. Yet, we claim our hospitality industry is moving on well. There are a lot of activities that we could do. We have tourist sites all over Ghana which need proper planning. But what are we doing? Ghanaian leaders are always thinking about how to feed their own pockets. Proper planning is not put in place. For the health aspect, a lot is happening. We are not here to speak big grammars. Let's speak reality. Look at our roads. Just as I was coming, traffic kept me. And I realized the fact that I couldn't get here early because we don't have our roads in the right proportion.
Right then, Mr. Magba, 5 minutes as well.
Okay.
So
Thank you. And I'll come back. There's more to share.
Yes,
Thank you.
there will be a lot more to share, but we'll try and make this conversation solution-driven as much as possible, and then we can solicit the different perspectives to which we're going to be convincing young people, and they will also get a turn to ask different questions from what it is that you'll be telling them in terms of the solutions that you'll be offering. We have 5 key areas, could be more, but because of time, 5. We touch on the economy, which is inarguably one of the biggest things that continues to confront every Ghanaian, young and old. Conversations of energy, because it is a prevailing conversation in this particular point. Then for young people, I was in the Guan constituency some 2 weeks ago. The conversation for a lot of them is about jobs and how they can complete their education and get jobs. And so for young people, students, we've mentioned the statistics with regards to the numbers that continue to graduate every year and the numbers per the Ghana Statistical Services work done. Jobs will be important. Then education, and then we'll end it on health. And so for every person that I'll ask a question, again, 5 minutes, the floor to allow for the young people as well. I'm a young person myself. But we'll open the floor for questions, and then we can proceed from there. In wanting to start, I want to start from the Convention People's Party and Comrade Hammond. While sticking to the guide that we have, it's pretty much evident what the current numbers, the current data suggest. From the perspective of the Convention People's Party, if you've done an analysis of what it is that is now, give and take 180-day solution. If you're to win power, your flag bearer who you're yet to select, what is feasible things, or what are the feasible things that can be done within, say, 180 days, or let's just say 1 year, the first 1 year, which the CPP believes are feasible solutions that can begin to turn things around?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I think what we are talking about here is the economy, right? Economy is simple: what you produce, how you produce it, at what cost, and how you sell it. Currently, the Ghana economy is an import-driven economy. This import-driven economy means that the Ghanaian has to change his cedi to hard currency before he can purchase goods into Ghana with the numerous taxes before the Ghanaian can sell. This is the economic style of the duopoly since 1992. Import, sell, import, sell. You asked what the Convention People's Party would do given that we are given the opportunity to once again rule this country. First of all, we are going to look at what we produce and what we can produce at a good economic of scale. We cannot produce everything now, but we look at what we can do now and do it in-house. We will not cherish this white elephant called, what does the MPP call it again? One district, one factory. What is the district factories producing? Is a white elephant. The Convention People's Party, we do not engage in rhetorics. In fact, we have done it before. This country was producing cars, which was being sold, TVs, nails, matches. This thing will give jobs to the teeming youth who have no jobs. So we will look at what feasibly we can produce in our country now, so that at least we can offset the import, the plenty import. Because you see, it is this import which is driving our inflation. It is the same import which is making sure that the currency is becoming weaker and weaker. We are not producing anything. In fact, the Ghanaian economy does not produce any meaningful thing. So how can it grow? So the Convention People's Party will first tackle the things that we can produce in-house. Also, we will look at energy. If you want to do industrialization and you don't have energy, you are kidding. It is the Convention People's Party under the leadership of Asajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah that built the Akosombo Dam, started the Bui Dam. In fact, the Bui Dam was earmarked, I think, 1927 by one British Australian called Ernest Kitson. Asajifo came, saw the wisdom in it, and started the preliminary stages. So you need energy to produce. So after we have talked of structuring and making our energy strong, then we can move into what to produce. It is not only hydro energy that we can use. In fact, Asajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah instructed an institutional GAIEC, the Ghana Atomic Energy Institute, right at Atomic Junction. What happened? The duopoly came, sold everything. Atomic energy can supplement what we have now. Solar energy. We are in the tropics. There's sun everywhere. There's sun everywhere. You cannot convince me that solar energy will not work in Ghana. It is that we don't want to put in the money. We are not ready to invest where it will help the people. So given the power, the Convention People's Party will first tackle energy, knowing that we need it for the industrialization, and look at feasibly the things that we can produce here, at least to cut down the imports. The so many imports that we are importing everything, including matches. You are telling me that the brilliant mind of the Ghanaian cannot produce a matches? Is that what the duopoly has brought us to? We cannot produce anything. Everything that we wear is imported. Come on. The Convention People's Party, we believe in Ghanaians, and we believe that we must open our trade, because if you are going to sell, you need a market. Africa is for Africans both home and abroad. We must do business with ourselves. It must not be difficult to do business in Niger or Sudan or Nigeria. We are all black people, and this continent is for us. So we will look at how to feasibly open trade and make it easier, not just for cronies, but for every young person who wants to do something. So for the Convention People's Party, our plan is simple. We must make sure that our energy is okay. It can produce. Then feasibly look at those things that we can produce in-house, work on them, put our energy there, and cut down our imports. Then we will look at our education. You cannot do anything if you don't have the brains to do it.
Yes, I saw that you ventured into the conversation of energy and were seeking to enter into education as well. Those are all areas that we're going to those are all areas we're going to enter into. I'll just follow and with Mr. Magba, with the United One Ghana movement, asking a very similar question as to what really your plan is in dealing with the current economic challenges that it is that many people, not me, many people continue to say.
Thank you. Like I said earlier on, we are not here to give vocabularies to the suffering Ghanaian, but to speak reality. In the beliefs of United One Ghana, with our leader, Mr. Alfred Kwame Asiedu Walker, when we talk of the economy, practically means growing the system towards the well-being of the citizen. Example, a man leaving the house to work is able to provide some money to the family. Listen, I'm off to work, and then medi benku, and then move for na yi. It's economy, no? Yeah, this is what we're talking about. What can bring about this? This has to do with the fact that cutting down certain measures government officials has taken on as it stands. We all know we are talking about the energy sector. We are talking about the transport system. We're talking about petroleum. But what are we seeing? These are the same people enjoying all these things, leave ordinary Ghanaian on or down the ground to suffer. The economy can be well prepared when things like this are really looked at or into. One, we must cut down, as every Ghanaian has always said, or most Ghanaians crying for, the number of ministers, MPs we have in our system. Because one ministry could boast of 3 deputies, 1 minister, and you think your economy have a proper standing. Far from that. How can the health sector have medical equipment sitting at the ports when we can't get them to the individual hospitals to work on the people, and we about economy getting its feet? It can never work. How can we talk about getting proper measures in place when building roads, when somebody or when a country can use same amount of money used in Ghana in building a road times 3 in building similar roads in their country, and you think your economy will work? It is never visible. It can never work. We are talking about Ministry of Sports. Just recently, we all saw what happened. The All African Games. The facilities that were being built by the ministry. And looking at the amount of money that went into it. Similar thing has happened in a couple of countries before. And looking at the amount of money that went into Ghana's infrastructure for the All African Games. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, was never visible. Yet, we want our economy to grow. What am I talking about at this point? Let's think about growing Ghana first. Let's think about building the future for the coming ones. Let's think about the citizenry of this country than the selfishness. These are the key factors that could build the economy. You could stand here and give us all the big vocabs, but if you don't put measures in place, it is not going to work. Currently, the vice president
Mr.
of this
Akbar,
country.
Thank you. I'll proceed to Julian and give him 5 minutes as well. If you could just hand over the microphone so that they don't start timing. Mr. Julian, you have 5 minutes as
Thank
well.
you.
In dealing with
economy.
the Ghanaian economy.
Let me speak to the economy. Yes, government surrogates say they have worked very hard. The MPP has worked very hard to deliver for us the worst economy in the history of our republic. our government is owing public and private debt in excess that we cannot contain. Inflation is skyrocketing. Food inflation is the highest in the last 2 decades, the worst form. The World Bank report says that 1 million people under this regime of a government have been 10 poorer than they were in the last government. That is the record of the MPP. And the record of the government under John Mahama and the next government will do the following thing. I'll tell you. I'll brief about it. So I'll give you the point and the indicators. One, if we want to turn our economy around, the first thing you must cut down the corruption in our public sector. John Mahama's government is determined to make sure that what we have seen in this government in insane proportions never happens in our history again. Number two, we need to, as a matter of urgency, diversify our economy. How do you intend to do that? Financing always follows growth. You have heard the flag bearer and Professor Nana mentioned that you provide a women bank. I'll tell you why we are providing a women's bank. Women, the report says that women are the heart of entrepreneurship in sub-Saharan Africa. Yet the women don't have access to financing. So most people who are in businesses don't have access to finance. That's because of their gender. We want to remove that in the ways of people, such that we provide financing across all levels, horizontal, vertical, everybody in the world, to have access to financing provided for the Republic, so that they can use that financing to expand their business. And SMEs expand, our economies expand. Number two, you've heard about the 24-hour economy that the NDC has over-litigated. What is it about? The NDC is saying that to turn our economy around, like he mentioned, that we need to we have to have an import substitution strategy. We cannot continue what the MPP has been doing. For instance, even common photocopying was done in China. That's what they have been doing in the past 8 years. Let me tell you what we're going to do. This government, our government, is determined to make sure that in the next and the next regime, we provide support and infrastructure for Ghanaian business to have a shift system that works 24 hours. And I'll tell you, just basically simple. If somebody is providing, for instance, let's even say 10 tons of sugar, and let's say the Commander Sugar Factory, that closes at 5 o'clock. What we intend to do is make sure that when we run 24 hours, we provide, let's say, 30 tons. 30 tons means that instead of importing sugar to cover up for the space, that sugar we produce in Ghana will provide that space. We save our currency. It will be $1.14 cedis. We'll drive the currency down. So I'm showing how these things. We are also going to make sure that wherever you are, we provide you in 70 businesses. You mentioned about energy. When we talk about energy, the king of energy delivery is John Mahama. He provided over 2,000 megawatts of energy in supply. Nobody, not even Nkrumah's government, came anywhere close to what John Mahama has done in our energy sector. What John Mahama is intending to do under the next government to make sure that we, at peak hours, we provide cheap energy labor sources for people who are running business. We also want to make sure that this regime does tax almost everything. Better. We have a regime that cut down taxes to make sure that we provide incentives for startups. Look, you talk about energy. I'll give you an example. This conversation is very soft. It's very big. That make sure that people have provide money in a republic. The components of what they call, let's say, the solar energy mentioned about the parts. The MPP government has put taxes on those that provide, that generate those manufactured parts. Anytime you increase taxes, what happens is that you decapitate growth, because it increases the capex of companies. John Mahama is saying that under the next regime, with 24-hour economy, our incentive is to make sure that we give you tax breaks. We make sure that young people, especially when you're starting a business, we give you tax holidays so that you don't have to pay taxes for the business you run. We are going to also provide, let me give you breaking news. The NDC is promising to provide you, in the next government, a microcredit financing scheme for only young people. That finance scheme will do one thing, to provide competitive
Right.
loan facility for young people that start
Thank you
businesses.
very much, Mr. Mausi. And as we hear them speak, we continue to hear that the conversations on the economy transcends from one sector to the other, because more often than not has a lot of components in different aspects. And so in improving your economy, jobs will have to be created and all of that. And so you continue to hear that a lot. I'll go to Mr. Safo Kantanka, and then I'll come to Vincent Ofori, who will be the last person. I was hoping we can do 5 minutes each for every topic, but I worked the math and we might be here for longer. And so on some of the other conversations, I'll reduce the time to about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so that we can do. Otherwise, we'll be here for over 2 hours plus if everybody is to speak for 5 minutes on all of the sectors. And I realize you're touching on some of the concepts from the different aspects as well. But Mr. Safo Kantanka, great transformational plan. What is in that plan that can salvage the Ghanaian economy? 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. So the first and foremost is to have someone very credible like the Honorable Alan Martin, who has kept a clean sheet in all his 46 years of public and private service. Next is to move away. I'm so happy when I hear them talk about a shift from the Gadgetsburg economy, where we import almost everything, into an export-driven one. But trust me, guys, like I said, we need a very credible man, a very competent person. And the people mentioning the problems, trust me, have had 32 years to correct it. They couldn't do. So I don't think they are the best to bail the cat. Yes. Structural shift that allows us to invest into the productive sectors of our economy. So what we've had in the last 32 years is this ad hoc measure, all right? They've been, the economy, let me lay this preamble. It takes an integrated approach to fix things. I'm surprised you gave us just 5 minutes. If we are going to talk about the economy, you're going to talk about a lot of things, all right? And the human being at the center of the development, it's also the driver of the economy. And so it's important, as we talk about some of these economic indicators, like a single-digit inflation, where Alan promises to achieve. He said for the first time we're going to have a single-digit interest rate for lenders. All right. It's important, as we touch on these economic indicators, we also look at the Human Development Index. At the end of the day, the whole of the economy is about your livelihood. Are you able to afford things? Are you able to live that life you need to live? So these are concerns I would want us to think about beyond this. It's just 5 minutes, so I don't want to delve into a lot of complicated arena. But the fact is that Alan Martin promises us a new tax regime. You realize, whereas in one vein we will want to produce here, in the other vein we are burdening our with so much taxes, so much, to the extent that some businesses would have to fold up. Some businesses have to leave the shores of Ghana. Alan says when he comes, for all those who import strategic goods, like our people at the Abosokai importing, what do we call it, spare parts. He's telling us that if he comes, he's going to give us a fixed exchange rate so that in 6 months, where the city is always fluctuating, you guys importing specific and strategic goods that are so pivotal to our economy would have that flat rate. All right, so if the dollar was 10 cedis, if you were importing your goods, in 6 months, any goods anywhere should have arrived in Ghana. And so you can clear it at that same rate. That is just one of the ways we plan to fix things. The next is something we call a new agricultural revolution. You realize, like I said earlier, in investing into the productive sectors, it's very important we look at agriculture. There's agribusiness offers this huge opportunity for the country to turn around. Unfortunately, it's been one lip service over the other. Our man, Alan Martin, says he's going to do something different. The new agri-revolution is going to run on something we call a market-oriented agricultural program. That focuses on different aspects of the value chain. So you pick every commodity, there will be various reforms throughout the value chain. What are some of the reforms? At the farmers level, we want to look at farmers, empowering these farmers so that they are able to work together as cooperatives, and then they will get all the support they need. They are going to get all the government support, the policy, the power of government policy that allows them to, contribute in large quota to whatever export ideas we have. And just after that, cooperatives and, productive prowess that follows. We're going to set up factories, industries around some of these.
Mr. Safo, thank you. 5 minutes, yes. I understand the challenge we all might have in relation to the time and how we want to be able to express ourselves, but the maiden edition, and so we want to try and keep it nice and tidy, and then we can proceed. Mr. Vincent Ofori, for you as a governing party, it's been left, right, and center in detailing its challenges that exist. You've had 8 years, you want more. What differently are you going to do as a party to improve upon the economy as we have it?
Thank you very much. We are not going to do anything. We are not going to reinvent the wheel. We are not going to do anything different from, what we are currently doing. What we are going to do is to build on what we have currently built. That is exactly what we are going to do. Now, if you look at our industrial development, what has happened is that over the years, you have SMEs, that is small scale industries, burdened with a whole lot of tax. And what we are going to do is that some are so burdened to the extent that they can't even pay their taxes. So what we are doing is that if we are able to win the next election, inshallah, what we are going to do is that we are going to give a tax amnesty. All that we are saying is that we are going to give a tax holiday, so that if any individual or if any SME is owing any tax, what we are going to do is that we are going to start afresh. So you will get much breathing space to be able to build your business. What is going to happen is that you have a whole lot of young people putting up a whole lot of companies that will not only employ themselves. You see, the whole idea built up deep into the one district, one factory policy that was implemented by government is a policy. I think after the reign of Nkrumah, we've not had any policy that has targeted one aspect of the economy, that is to industrialize the economy. We are all talking about the fluctuating of the Ghana cedi, and it's all about exchange rate. What is happening is that if you are not able to produce locally, what will happen is that you have to force to import. What we are saying is that we are going to improve on that policy. There are so many companies that were set up under the 1D1 factory. What is happening is that we have some that are facing challenges. Of course, we accept them. But what we are saying is that going forward, we are going to improve on them and work on them. Agriculture. Currently, what we are doing is that we are implementing the second phase of planting for food and jobs. We are looking into building the multi-purpose dam at Pualugu. When this dam comes into stream, you get a whole lot of people around the Pualugu area being able to irrigate their farm. The truth is that if you are here in Accra, you will not appreciate the importance of some of these dams or some of these dugouts that we embark on in the first administration of our government. What happens over there is that during the dry season, people struggle to even get water to water their farm produce and get water for even their animals to drink. So these dugouts serve as a reservoir for most of the citizens, especially those in the northern sector, to be able to feed their animals and get water for the animals to drink. So what we are going to do is that we are going to improve on that. It was a dugout. What we are doing is that we are coming out with a manifesto that will seek into building turning some of these dugouts into proper dams that will help most of these villages in some of these areas. So not ending there. What we are saying is that if you look at the number of people who pay tax in our country, the number is very, very small. We have a little over 2 million people paying tax. Yes, my sister. A little over 2 million people paying tax out of 35 million population. It is very small. So you have some small number of people carrying the burden of a whole number of our population. What we are saying is that through digitalization, we are bringing the Ghana card. We are turning the Ghana card into tax number. So automatically, once you get a Ghana card, you have a tax number. And with this, what is going to happen is that we are going to get a whole lot of people in the tax basket, and it will help reduce some of these taxes. That is the main reason why we are saying is that when we come in our third term, when you give us the nod, what we are saying is that we are going to start afresh. Because once you have the Ghana card, and almost everybody have the Ghana card, will be able to rope in. We have close to about 7.7 million people who are in the informal sector who have not been captured onto the tax basket. We are looking at expanding them, we are looking at regularizing them, we are looking at how we can get them onto the tax basket so that all of us, we can enjoy a very smaller tax base.
Thank you. I need to mention that because of the nature in which this first debate series is happening, I will be very restricted in asking follow-up questions so that we can touch on the various subject matters. I'm trusting that there will be other avenues going forward where we'll just pick one subject area and then we can return to the various respective speakers, and then we can probe thoroughly what the plans are and then elicit a bit more responses with regards the specifics of what they are promising. But because of the nature and seeking to cover as much area as possible, I want to move the conversation ahead so we can speak to the energy matters currently. In our conversations on the economy, I've heard a number of the speakers speak to the current energy situation and what it is that can be done to improve it. The bottom line for starters in wanting to improve the current energy situation is the debt which hangs over the current space. As at the last time of check, is over $1 billion US, and ECG has been taxed amongst many other things to generate $1 billion cedis monthly to pay through the cash waterfall mechanism. I'm going to start with Mr. Ofori because you have the microphone. This time for 3 minutes. How you and the NPP are going to seek to deal with the energy sector challenge, particularly with the debt, even before all other matters of solar and others can come through.
You know, when my friend from the NDC was speaking, he made mention that we can refer to somebody as the father of generating electricity or whatever. One thing that we have to understand is that signing purchasing agreement, IPPs, signing contract with IPPs to produce electricity is the easiest thing anyone can do. Is the easiest thing anyone can do. What happens is that the more you sign these IPPs, the more you incur debt. And the more you incur debt, the more you have to increase electricity tariffs, the more you find it very difficult to even get money to buy fuel and generate other input to power these generators. So what we are doing is, what we are doing at the energy sector is very simple. Currently, our generating capacity meets our consumption capacity. So what we are doing is that we are moving some of the badges that were bought by the NDC, we are moving some of them to the other part of the country, because one thing that we have realized is that if you transport energy from one point to another, you lose a certain number of the energy that you have produced. So if you get it closer to the people, it becomes very easier for them to use it, and then you reduce the amount of wastage in the system. What we have also done is that these days you can just sit comfortably on your bed and you'll be able to buy electricity and you get light on. What we are doing is that we have digitalized the purchasing of electricity. What this does is that it brings about how do we call it? It brings about No, it brings about accountability in the system. It makes it very easier for us to track the amount of money that has gone into the coffers of ECG, for us to be able to pay most of these IPPs and people that we are owing. Hitherto, we were not having such mechanism in place. Most of them are done manually. What happens is that people are able to divert funds, and you find it very difficult. So you have ECG always in debt. What we are doing is that we are not only earning there. We brought in the cash waterfall mechanism. What that does is that ECG takes the money, we put in one basket, we pay the others. Well, we have not been able to live to much expectation when it comes to that. But what our current government, or what the Bawumia government is promising, is that when we come, we are not only going to increase it, we are not going to only to improve it. What we are going to do is that we are going to regularize it, so that anytime ECG collects the revenue, they are able to put it in one basket.
Right.
We give it to any of the IPPs that we are owing.
Ofori,
they get their
thank
share,
you.
we get our light, then we move on.
Thank you. And so that's Vincent Ofori, is a representative for the governing New Patriotic Party. I will reverse the order, and so kindly hand it over to Mr. Safo Kantanka. 3 minutes on dealing with the current energy sector debt, and then how we can safeguard electricity usage going forward. We're not even talking about cost of purchasing power yet, but let's just stay on that tangent just for today.
Thank you. So, at the movement, Honorable Alan Chermatin, this is to be sincere to Ghanaians. The first is to be able to tell them that, whereas, yes, there are plans to be able to generate up to the capacity, are the plans working? Sir, you said, no, they are not. When you come, the MPP is telling us when they come, what we see now is what we will get. That's what their rep is saying, that they are not going to do anything different from what we are seeing now. And so the doomsday is going to continue if you vote for MPP. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice is yours. But the most important I want to put across is that there's so much insincerity to the extent that they are unable to give us a timetable, because that registers in the minds of Ghanaians that MPP2 had doomsday. So then there will be all these power outages, and they are just not admitting it. They are in perpetual denial. The fact is that they are unable to purchase fuel, the heavy fuel. Please. They are unable to purchase fuel to power the plants. So the plants are available, but they are unable to generate the power you need. Unfortunately, ECG is at the lowest of the value chain, all right? They don't generate. So they are rather shifting blame to ECG. That's the level of insincerity that should make everyone here so upset with this government, all right? The least you can do to us young people is to be sincere with us. That, hey guys, there's a problem, and the Ministry of Finance is unable to pay for the extra fuel we need, because ECG is supposed to account for what revenues they've taken. But mind you, there's a problem. The people are unable to pay power, right? Now you are unable to also increase power to have them generate that level of income to be able to pay for the excess fuel you need. And so now we are in that sequence of lies and.
Mr. Kantanka, appreciate as well. Like I mentioned, we're going in the reverse order, and so Mr. Mause Kobna will proceed to have the microphone. And I need to remind all of us that we're seeking to provide solutions to the young people here.
I'll go straight
and
to the
so,
point. Yes.
Mr. Kobna, your time starts now.
Yes. These are very interesting times in our country. I would expose the MPP rep said here. He said one. That's what he said, right? We all heard him. And he said, the more you sign, the more you care. It means that when you sign on energy that you don't need. 6 months ago, this government signed an IPP deal to add 720 megawatts of energy. What are they doing? Are they signing more to give us? I'll tell you why. You see, government energy sector distribution. Let me tell you what it is. So there are people that generate the energy, those that supply what you said the ECG does. So we had what we call the energy. Recover the debts incurred in the energy sector from 2015 to 2022. The amount of money that has been generated from that levy that you pay, I pay, is 18.35 billion Ghana cedis. Do you know what they've done with their money? It's part of the money that can rise to get more loans to finance their fantasies that we can't even account for what the money. We had a strategy to be able to pump World Bank money, free money from our revenue partners into ECG. What he mentioned about, we get utility in energy distribution. So rather money to their friends in a PDS scam. We heard about it. And the partners got out of it. They said they cannot be involved in that corrupt cartel. So Ghana didn't get the free money to help us solve ECG's issues. The government issued a statement and said that was a robbery, it was fraud. Have you ever had anybody prosecuted? Have you heard anybody prosecuted? Have you heard about it? This government is the most corrupt government we ever had in our republic. And I'll tell you what the issue is. So we had an energy, what is Doomsor? There was an energy generation problem. The amount that we consume and the amount that we generate, there was a big gap. John Mahama inherited that problem. In the past, people used to pray at Akosombo. Mahama, transformational leader, saw the problem, the challenge, and then built the IPPs on BOOT. Build, operate, own, transfer. One of them, they had the whole program. John Mahama had built over 2,000 megawatts
Mr. Kobna.
plant. No, so that I clarify that.
Time.
A minute.
3
Clarify.
minutes. If when the questions come through.
You are not helping the debate.
Yes, I know. I that's why I've stressed that
You're not helping the debate.
there isn't enough time for today, and
You're not helping the debate.
going forward, because if we take the energy sector alone, we can have debate from morning till evening, looking at different aspects of it to deal with the conversation. So
let me close it.
if I do that, then it means everybody else will have to do that. So kindly hand over the microphone to Mr. Makban I. Samuel, who has to also, I keep stressing, solutions. How do we deal with the current challenge that we have on our hands, over 1.5 billion US dollars in debt owed different players within the sector, and then we can make energy available for Ghanaians to use. 3 minutes.
Thank you once again. At this point, I am speaking for the layman. All those big figures are not helping the ordinary Ghanaian. You should understand, yes. So we have the NPP government through the vice presidents talking about digitization, where they talk about paying bills through an app. As I speak to you, I have an app on my phone. I have tried a couple of times to pay my bills and it's not working. No, please, please. I am speaking from experience. As it stands, I still have a challenge, even with my lights. So don't even go there. Right? So please, go and tell Mr. Vice President he should go back to his technical team to look at the app for us. That will help us, cut down all this pressure we're going through. No, please. It is not working. Don't go there. Then again, we have challenges from our own government institutions. You and I will bear with me. Just this week, the Ashanti regional minister has refused to even apologize for the wrong he did to an ECG regional manager for a government institution owing the ECG institution, and you expect us to be able to settle those bills we're talking about. It is never feasible. It will never work. Please go and tell your Ashanti regional minister to go and plead and tell the so-called institution in question to pay their bills, please. I said I will speak for the ordinary Ghanaian. If I'm here to speak vocabularies, we'll do that. If you're here to mention big figures, I'll do that. But I'm here for the ordinary Ghanaian. Look, we are in a country where we can't even produce light for our own selves. Yet we are producing light for other countries. Tell me I'm lying. We are producing light for our neighboring countries. How do we even match to that? No, you tell me. Listen, go and tell your government to put those things into proper proportions. They should think of solving Ghana's problem before producing for the outside people. Because until we do that, we can never pay the bills or the challenges we're going through. The billions lying there can never be solved. Then again, we are talking about the ordinary Ghanaian once again. I buy light. The system is not friendly. I buy 50 cedis light today. Tomorrow, it is finished. And you expect me.
Mr. Magba,
Yes, sir.
Thank you for...
My 5 minutes already
it's
up.
3 minutes.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
3
okay,
minutes in
thank you.
relation to the energy conversation.
Okay, sure. All right.
And so, Comrade Hammond, you also have 3 minutes to
Thank
be
you
able
very
to
much.
address.
Thank you very much.
this
I'll zoom
specific
straight into the matter. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue that the fourth is that of corruption, mentality, and corruption. These two things. When this country, when we all got to the point that our energy sector must be privatized, at least we must bring in private investment so that it stays on a competitive level. The MPP government went into this deal, bridled it with scam, an opportunity to make generational money for a few people. This thing is not just in energy. It cuts across all sectors in the Fourth Republic. Corruption. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the debt owned, most of the institutions that own these debts are government institutions. Parliament, the legislature body of the whole country, its lights got cut off because it was not paying its bill. And if a state postures like this, treat government business anyhow, lackadaisical attitude. In fact, to it, the Fourth Republic has established that Abanye Juma Yenfanswa. To it, you can do government work anyhow you want and nothing will happen to you. This is the problem that we are facing in this country. We sign agreements and we put in generational trouble so that our children and great-grandchildren will never work. Because, again, the Fourth Republic has two things: corruption and state capture mentality. To pay our debts, we must actually take out these things and face reality, giving stiffer punishments to corrupt officials. That is the only way that we can navigate this monster of a system that the Fourth Republic has established. Without that, we can never move on. Every government feels they can do whatever they want.
Right.
My time is up.
Yes, Comrade Hammond. He's a timekeeper, and so when he alerts me, I just move on. So we're going to go on to jobs, and still 3 minutes because of time. Otherwise, it's almost 9. We might leave here after 11. So I'm going to start with Vincent Ofori. Jobs. What do you have for young people that they can look forward to in terms of job creation?
In terms of job creation, the truth is that if you look at the current numbers, it's not something that all of us are proud of. So as a government, we are working in, day out to make sure that we come out with better policies that will rope in most of our youth. In fact, when we took power in 2016, we met a bigger challenge more than this. We to the extent that we have teeming youth coming together to even form a situation for unemployment. We had a backlog of people who have completed teacher training college and are not getting jobs. we have people who have completed nursing training and are sitting home. So we've come a very long way. It may not be the best. It may not be what all of us are looking out for. But going forward, what we are doing, what we are putting in place as a government is that we are going to link up with the private sector to create out more job opportunities for people. Now, one thing that we also have to look at is the mining area. Now, if you look at our mining area, we have something that has even become something we call the menace, Galamsey. What we are saying is that, and the last survey I saw, the last report I saw, we have close to about 500,000 people hooked on Galamsey. So it's an area that has a whole potential that we can develop as a nation. What we are saying is that in 2006, we launched Operation Galamsey. He couldn't finish it. We launched Muhammad during 2013. He set up interministerial committee to look at it. He couldn't solve it. Akufo-Addo came. He set up Vanguard. He couldn't solve it. What we are saying is that going forward into 2025 and beyond, what we are saying is that we are going to regularize Galamsey. We are going to make it much attractive. We are going to decentralize EPA. We are not going to end there. Mineral Commission, what we are going to do is that we are going to decentralize Mineral Commission as well. We are going to take mining closer to the mining communities so that they can be much monitored for them to get. And once we are able to roll out this policy alone, what it means is that we have been able to employ close to 500,000 people.
Can you
through just the mining
hand
sector.
over the microphone to Mr. Safofure? And I continue to make the point that because of time, we'll have to just go straight to the point so that on another platform, when we gather again, we can have extensive debate on these various subject matters. And so kindly, 3 minutes, Mr. Kantanka, what does Alan have for young people in terms of job creation?
Thank you. So for starters, I'm going to highlight a few things Alan has done that has created jobs, even as a minister. And so if he comes by the grace of God, he gets the executive authority, then he can go all out and do it. So there's a factory called Dignity Garment. That's the largest garment factory in Ghana. That's a brainchild of the Honorable Alan Martin. It employs over 5,000 people. All right. He added what we call the Intercontinental Free Trade Area and added the headquarters here for us. What it means is now with his idea to plant factories within the value chains of the new agric revolution, where now people around certain commodities get factories they are going to feed into for value addition. Mind you, every factory is going to employ different variety of labor force. We're going to have administrative staff. We're going to have different levels of technical expertise. All right? So all these people are enabled by the setting up of the Intercontinental Free Trade Area. And that's why Alan is so keen on jobs and cash economy. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a swipe at our man. So I'm surprised he didn't touch on the Omia's only way of providing jobs. I have his document he read at the UPSA here. He said this is how he's going to create jobs. He's going to take 1 million Ghanaians and train them in IT. I can read it for you. Under jobs, in collaboration with the private sector, we will train at least 1 million youth in IT skills, including software developers. Guys, so if you, can you please allow me? So if you studied nursing and you are home without a job, Baumia says if he comes, he's going to take you through IT skills. If you are a teacher, you don't have a job, your vice president now, the mate, is saying when he becomes a driver, he's going to take you through IT skills. If you're a doctor, if you are whatever expertise you studied in school, he says he's going to take you through IT. So whatever you studied, is it?
Yes.
Whatever is
3 minutes. Kindly hand the microphone to Mr. Mark Samuel, and I'll plead that we avoid heckling because this is not a platform where we can immediately respond it's not a studio conversation like we would all love to, so that we can take swipes. It's just addressing young people and being able to provide solutions that you believe your respective movement and political parties have for these young people. Mr. Magba, 3 minutes on what you have in terms of job creation, to which reason you might want these young individuals to vote for your party.
Okay, due to the time, I'll just touch on regionalization. Mr. Alfred Kwame Esedu Walker and his next government believes that the only way Ghana can move forward, especially when it comes to the job creation, is by regionalization. What does this mean? Everything now in Ghana is from the central system. I'll touch base on the agri sector for a piece of statement or something that is really realistic there. He keeps saying that, listen, you grow your produce, and now there's no way to even market them. Yet we have students or youth after school sitting in the house doing nothing. Listen, get the beautiful ones, get the handsome ones to go out there. Look, from Ghana to the UK is just 6 hours, 47 minutes. And we can produce whatever UK needs right from Ghana. Talk of fruits, the tubers and all that. Yet, the UK travels all the way from Ghana to Brazil and the rest, which is about 11 hours to get this produce. What stop the Ghanaian from doing this? Take the youth out there. Let them market what you have to be able to employ them. That will cut a lot of this pressure on the government. Then again, we're looking at some bad ways of paying or protocol ways of employing people. We all know what is happening now. Just a few days ago, I spoke with somebody who I needed to, introduce someone to when it comes to the immigration sector. And the statement was that, my brother, now nothing is for free. Now everything is protocol. Why should the ordinary Ghanaian who just completed his national service go through this hell, this heckle, all in the name of getting the opportunity to work for this country?
I'll crave our indulgence that we just respect it. And I continue to make the point that we'll get a platform again. I believe the organizers will see to that, where we can get a lot more time in tackling these, because we have 2 more issues, and I might want to reduce the time to just 2 minutes quickly so that we touch on. But 3 more minutes on jobs, and then we do 2 minutes on the 2 remaining issues. No, I want Comrade to proceed. 3 minutes.
So we are talking about jobs, right? What the Ghana economy has become under the Fourth Republic is jumping from raw materials straight to service. The industrialization space has been cut off. We have no phase for industrialization. What we are actually doing in Ghana is exporting jobs, because our economy is so import-driven. The jobs that we could have done here, we are exporting it. So let's say I need a mattress, right? This mattress is produced by human beings using machines. These human beings are in Indonesia, whilst my brothers in Kranza, in the BA, could have been producing these matches. So until we move from jumping from raw materials to service production, which has now become what every government under this Fourth Republic is championing, we are not going anywhere, and we are not creating any jobs. The basic human need for shelter, clothing, food, these are all job-driven opportunities that the Ghanaian youth can take and get something to do. In fact, it's sad under this Fourth Republic that leaders who enjoyed all the goods of the state, the l'argent of the state, have now truncated the future of young people in this country. The future of young people is so bleak that they do not know where to go. I'm telling you, until we industrialize this country, we are going nowhere. Thank you, my brother.
Of industrialization, our jobs, 3 minutes.
So in 2016, the rate of on unemployment was 11% that was pointing downwards. Now it's 14%, it's increasing. It's getting worse under this regime in the last 7 years. We've done nothing to that. What we intend to do, straight, we want to implement an aggressive 24-hour economy that will give young people access to be involved in government-deployed economic program. That will get companies to expand, that will get companies to run across the 24-hour time clock. Government services to run 24-hour time clock. We are going to employ more people, and we're going to get SMEs to expand. Number two, we want to truly be able to achieve what John Mahama began by making sure that this country sits the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade, because Ghana has to become, well, that's not only the breadbasket of the sub-region, you have to become the industrial hub of West Africa. By doing that, we're going to have an aggressive export regime that we are going to make sure that we remove the impediments in the way of people transferring, transporting, hauling their goods and services from Ghana to our brothers. Ghanaian businesses markets. We are going to provide Ghanaian businesses also. The flag has mentioned that he's going to put up a private sector led finance instruments, such that if you want to export your product, you can utilize that product to export your product. Now we also have promised to have $10 million program. What do you want to do with $10 million program? You talk about AI innovation. What can we do to make sure that this getting young have to participate in the finance sector? The NDC is the only political party that has promised a $50 million fund to support young people in the fintech industry. We have also, and
I think on the $50 million fintech, your time is up on that front. Yes, I continue to see the frustration on all of your faces. I believe it will be good enough feedback for the legions in guiding what happens next. We will continue. We have to do education and then health. I want to allow you to do 2 minutes on health. 2 minutes on health, 2 minutes each, and then we'll do another 2 minutes on education, and then
healthcare is for working in the infrastructure. For the John Mahama in delivering hospitals, this guy work. John Mahama to complete the abandoned hospital has left to rot. Number two, what we also want to do is to make sure that we solve the iniquities in the health insurance program, and first time in our country should be a primary healthcare system, especially for our friends, sisters, and brothers in the rural Ghana. We all make sure it's coming from automatic who are never under this government. They are demonstrating. We want to solve that problem for them.
All right, thank you very much. On healthcare, I'll read one policy from our 2020 manifesto. So it goes like, a comprehensive, universal, and socially funded public health and sanitation facilities across the nation. Okay? We are in a country that now the go-to policy is to export nurses. As if Ghana, we are very okay with our health system, that we are at par with Cuba, so we don't need health professionals anymore. So we are exporting nurses. This is what the duopoly under the Fourth Republic has brought Ghana to. We in the CPP are saying that we are going to make sure public health care is easily accessible to everybody, so that every community will have a well-tooled, if not a full-fledged hospital, at least a CHIP compound with indigenous people being trained to give health.
2 minutes, like I mentioned. Do 2 minutes for me on what you have for health as well.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to the health sector, we've realized that Ghana has a very big challenge. My brother rightly said, you have a lot of health workers sitting in the house after school. We do. Let's put up health sectors, facilities across the country to be able to employ them to keep the health sector busy. One thing we've noticed in this country is when there's a challenge across or any accident anywhere in this country, before any ambulance gets to the scene, what might happen will be over whatever everybody will be expecting. At this point, our leader believes that we should have what is called a quick movement, which is a chopper that could visit a site within the space of a time where the situation has happened. In this regard, we could give those people the first aid before getting to any health sector across. Now, when you get to the Ashanti region where we have Konfanochi, we all know the challenge. The health ministry cannot even keep the doctors and health personnel there into working. So as it stands now, there's a lot of challenge. The Ashantihini himself, and as Utufo himself, has to come all the way to solicit for funds to be able to keep the hospital running. Please, Mr. If you're here, go and tell the health minister we need things to move the right way. Because of time, I can't dive into where they're supposed to be.
Time,
That's right.
Let me hear from Ms. Ofori on health for 2 minutes.
What we are going to do is that we are going to keep Agenda 111 coming. What is going to happen is that once you introduce Agenda 111, you get it floating, you end up employing close to about 60,000 health workers, because the Agenda 111 with its auxiliaries will come up with a whole lot of job opportunities for everyone. We are going to increase the capacity of Zipline. For the first time, we are moving from paper medical care to e-medical care. What it means is that if today my details are found in Kentampo Hospital, and probably I find myself in Accra in a dire need of health conditions, I can walk straight to Kolebu without any folder. I give them my Ghana card number, and everything is up there. These are some of the improvements we are bringing into the health sector. We are not ending there. We are also building, Kufuor left us Erojet project, 2008. The NDC couldn't finish them. We are on it. We will finish it very soon. It's something that we are going to work on very hard. And all these auxiliary projects, if they come to stream to add to our health facilities, what is going to happen is that we'll be able to employ most of our teeming youth who are out there who are looking for a job. So one thing I will say when it comes to health is that if you're a health professional out there and you are listening to us, take your time, relax. The health facilities are coming to a float, and you will soon get your employment.
You've wrapped up before 2 minutes, and so start 2 minutes for me, and then let's hear from Mr. Safo Kantanka.
Thank you. So for our health service, we are looking at a very complex system, and the complexity is seen in how health, it's determined and even affects our livelihood, our economic livelihood. So for us at the movement, we are looking at different ways of using the power of policy to create demand for our health facilities. And by that, what I mean is we are going to empower the people, the health workers, retool them, resource them, build for them a befitting facility where at each level they are able to put out there their very best of knowledge. And then we are going to also look at creating access, bridging all kinds of barrier between all actors, all stakeholders involved in health. Health is not just about building hospitals. After building, you need people to go there. You need different people, health services, health insurance. You need even the community level. You need traditional authorities. You need various stakeholders to work together to make the complex system work out well. And so it is very important that we are able to thrive on the power of policy with someone like Honorable Alan Martin in the lead, to be able to chart that level of sane policies, sane policy directions, that we are able to trust and know that, at the end of the day, things are going to work out if I go to this facility, because there won't be syndromes like no bed and all these
Mr. Kantanka,
pain we have to deal with.
The last we have to touch on is on education, and then I'll open the floodgates for questions. And so, by way of announcement, when you raise your hand to ask a question, you can direct the question to whomever, and then we'll try and do that quickly. Because of time, I'll perhaps allow for just 5 questions, and you can direct to whomever to answer, and then we can proceed. I want to do it in that order again for us to touch on the last sector, which is education, 2 minutes each, and then we open the floodgates for questions. 2 minutes, Mr. Asafo Kantanka.
So the first is to do series of engagements. There has to be that thorough engagement of all stakeholders. What we've seen in the past is this government comes and then they come and lay out their policies without recourse to what the various actors within our educational system think or what they really need. It's all about what the president and his agenda is. I don't think after about 8 years of implementation of free SHS, it is far-fetched to ask for a review. We need to be able to review that policy, and that's something the Honorable Alan Martin promises to look at so that we'll make it better for our people. And then we need to also have a more structured basic education system, all right? So now we have basic education to include the SHS, but then we need to structure it well so that there's a smooth transition from the kindergarten crèche all the way up. And then another thing we promise to do is to have significant reforms so that people, the very people working within our education system, are well resourced and well rewarded. And then another thing we plan to do is to create that linkage between our educational modules and the industry, and then even academia, so that if you are going to learn something, it fits into industry, because we...
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Ofori, you have the floor to provide 2 minutes.
What we are doing at the basic level is to introduce smart classrooms. So you go to basic schools. I mean, all of us have been to basic school before. What you see there is a blackboard and what have you. What we are doing now is that we are moving away from that. The world is changing. So we are digitalizing the basic schools. We've started. We are moving on. We are going to get better. At the senior high school level, what we are saying is this: free SHS has come to stay. We are going to improve on it. By means of what we mean is that we are going to allow the PTA, if they want to have more engagement or more addition, we will allow it. Currently, what we are having is that if at the free SHS level, what we are doing is that if your ward gets to school, previously it was not like that. We had a government that has come with a universal education at the senior high school level that has increased access, has increased quality. What we are also doing is that we are at the university level. What is happening is that if you are a university student and you are listening to me, wherever you find yourself, with just your Ghana card, you can get a student loan to complement your education. We are not ending there. What we are saying is that you don't have to study just science to do engineering. Through the UMAT system, what we are doing now is that if you are studying visual arts, you can get access to study engineering. So at this particular time, you don't have to just you don't have to just study integrated science or be a science student to become an engineer. If you are a visual arts student, you can get access to go to university and be an engineer.
Mr. Ofori, thank you. Thank you. Magba, you do 2 minutes for us on education as well, and then we can...
All right, thank you. As a matter of fact, the MPP is saying a lot because they feel they are doing all but nothing. as it stands, we don't even have proper syllables. For the young ones, we don't have proper syllables as it stands now. And we are talking about, those above there. So what the government needs to do now is to make sure proper syllables are prepared for students and even teachers to be able to give us that transition we are all looking for. What we also facing in Ghana is our infrastructure when it comes to education. Like I said earlier on, I've been traveling, and one challenge we've had as students sitting under trees in this 21st century, you expect a child to become as good as someone in the city or above when there's no proper infrastructure for the person. One challenge that I realized or I've read has to do with the day SHS structures that was built by the previous government. Because the current government thinks that project was not started by them, they've left most of them in the bushes. My brother, I have evidence. I said I'm speaking for the ordinary Ghanaian today. Next time, please, don't go there. So that is something that we need to also touch on, proper infrastructure for our wards. Then again, teachers are always complaining.
All right. Thank you. On the teacher's note, unfortunately,
Thank you.
You have to.
Thank you very much. Let me zoom in straight. Education is training an individual to be the master of his environment. We, gentlemen, we in the CPP, we believe that we must train Ghanaians so that they take advantage of their environment and are able to master their environment and make good use of it. In fact, if you talk about education, I'm so happy. The record of the Convention People's Party when it comes to education is above proof. No political party in Ghana compares to what the Convention People's Party did. Now, what is very important is that we actually research and scrutinize this curriculum that we have and make sure that it is up to speed with where the world is moving to. We must understand that we have moved to an age where artificial intelligence is ruling, and therefore we must set up our young ones to be very conversant with these things right from the basic level, so that we move from the education that makes you a master of everything but you cannot produce anything. We in the CPP, we don't believe in that. Also, the one who is administering the education must be taken care of. The welfare of teachers constantly has been deteriorating in this fourth republic. The CPP, we find it very, very worrying because our mentor, Sajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah himself, was a teacher. He was a lecturer. So when it comes to education, matters of education is very, very important to us. Look, in this dispensation, we still have students learning under structures that can actually take their life. You are going to school by yourself. They stole our policy. Free education. It's the policy of the Convention People's Party to make sure that all Ghanaians get basic education from crèche to the university. That is the policy of the Convention People's Party, and NPP stole it.
So the choice before voters on 7 December 2024 is certain and very clear. 1, education. A government that decides that students sitting under trees will provide them with blue and white uniforms to maximize their partisan bigotry. John Mahama is promising to remove 8,000 schools under trees to give these students a decent place to sit down to have proper education. Number 2, we are determined to have a proper syllabus structure so that teachers who are instructors know what they are teaching their students, so we can be able to measure and graduate students from the basic level to the university level. Senior high school, our ambition is to make sure that we provide proper nutrition for students who are in the senior high school. What John Mahama did was provide free education to day students. This government expanded the free SHS to include boarding house students in the public-run schools. We are promising to expand free SHS to cover private-run schools because they also pay taxes. They also must have a share in government equitable processes. We are also saying that our government will incorporate ICT and innovation in a proper teaching methodology so that Ghanaian students become smart and they can compete globally. we are also promising that teachers who teach will give you automatic employment. Now they are demonstrating they are not being employed. We are also saying that teachers who are going to teach in the rural areas, we are going to pay you 20% much more than your base pay, so that we go to incentivize you. We are also saying that for the first time in our country's history, teachers will have an innovation policy, so that we can be able to help them build accommodations for themselves with what we call the pension for teachers scheme, so that teachers will have a proper incentives to teach.
All right. Thank you. Pension for teachers will be the last one. I'm going to open the floodgates now. A number of issues, I've been penning them down. Would have wished I could run through the different perspectives from all of them in relation to what they are promising from every sector. But unfortunately, I keep mentioning that time is not our greatest ally. And so I would just want to see by hand, and I want to do it myself so that we can save time. If you have questions, just raise your hand for me. I come to you, you introduce yourself, and then you ask. Please be succinct as possible.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I would like to ask the rep for the New Patriotic Party, NPP. During the health, you said something, Kufuor Euro's project, 2008. I want to know, we had a project like Kufuor Euro's project, or Euro project, Euroject. We have a project like that, and the government spent huge amounts of money on the National Cathedral, wasting it. Meanwhile, we could have worked on that particular project to help improve the health sector. So I want to know, according to the Afrobarometer's report, it says police top corruption, presidency second. Presidency tackles the office of the president and the vice president. That's the question. That's the question, exactly. It was a comment. So, according to the Afrobarometer report, police top corruption, presidency second, and the vice president is part of presidency. And now he is the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. So if this person, according to the report, saying is second in terms of corruption, how can the person, speak on behalf of the ordinary Ghanaian and help?
So note that down. I'll take the questions 2, 3 more or so, and then when it comes time to answer them.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, I came very late. Okay. All right, so I came late, but the last comment I heard from one of the speakers, I think from this side, is they are having a pension scheme for teachers, right? If I get you right, yes. We've been in this country before, and the good side of this debate is that both two political parties have been in power before, the NDC and the NPP. Just recently, you were in power. Teachers were hired. They worked for 3 years. They were paid for 3 months. This is on record. It means the relationship between the NDC government and the teachers wasn't that fair. So my question is that, what has changed? Are you going to, now, those who, are you going to now say that teach? Are you going to apologize with your new? Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you very much. I'll him. I see a lot more hands. Unfortunately, I've been notified we have to.
Good evening and thank you, everyone. So my question is to the rep for Movement for Change, Michael Sabkantanka. I want to ask him that, given he discovered Ghana is blessed with resources. So I want to ask him that, how is Alan going to utilize these natural resources to the benefit of the country to lead us into a new path as a country? Thank you.
Right, so there's one for, because of biases, I want a woman as well. So I saw a female hand.
Hi, my name is Yasmin, and my question is to Vincent, the representative for the New Patriotic Party. So when you were talking about education, you made mention that university students are able to apply for loans, and you are going to use their Ghana card to actually track them. And my question is, how are you going to make sure that they pay these loans? Because you already know universities across board already offer loan opportunities, and student representative councils offer loan opportunities to students to apply for if they are not able to pay their fees. So is it that you are going to make them pay the same rates as what they got, or you are going to add interest to it, because your government, everybody knows, is known for actually increasing or putting interest in things that they claim that is going to use to help people? Yeah.
All right, thank you. Vincent, you have 2 questions. Also, you have 1, and then Safo Kantanka, you have 1 as well. And so I want to, I want to structure the time so that we can respond to it quickly, because I've been notified. There's an additional hand. No, it's just 1 question. Perhaps I'll take the last one, and then we'll wrap it up in terms of responses.
So my question goes to Vincent. You spoke of the Kufuor Jet project, which was commissioned or given to, you said? 2008.
2007. Let's say 2008. That would be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is that between the Eurojet project and the Agenda 111, of which we've had about $600 gone into that, million cedis, sorry, gone into that. Which of the 2 are you prioritizing? Are you looking at giving us 9 hospitals, or giving us the 111 hospitals, of which from 2021 you spoke of till now we've not really had any progress of that yet? So I want to know the priority you are giving between the 2.
I see questions. I really want to wrap it up because of the notification got about time. But this here. Right. So Vincent has 4 questions,
They love me.
if I'm not mistaken, and then Mauso, you have 1, and then Antanka. Can you wrap up in 5 minutes in answering that question
5
for me?
minutes for 4 questions.
What's the concern, please? Right. Right. We'll find. I'll give you a minute each in terms of rounding up conversations, and then we can use that to address. So I'll take concluding statements from all of us so that we wrap up. But if you can answer in 5 me the different questions that were asked, because it was 4, I'll have to be a bit more, I don't want to say lenient, but I have to be accommodating. So if you could do that in 6 minutes for me in answering the respective questions, because of the notification I've got that we have to wrap this up. That's why I'm hard pressed on everybody. So quickly as possible, time 6 minutes for me so that we can.
What I'll do is that I'll start with the Eurojet project. It's 9 hospitals. So your question was that we should just oppose the main reason why the Agenda 111 is much important than the Eurojet project.
So he's asking, where are you going to put your priorities?
Simply. The Eurojet project is almost completed. We are almost done with the Eurojet project. It's almost done. That is one thing that you have to understand. It's almost done. One thing that you have to understand is that at the Agenda 111 is not just a mere number. We are building 111 hospitals, district hospitals, with its auxiliary facilities. So it is something that we all came to bear when we faced COVID. We realized that most of the districts that we tout as if we have district hospitals there, their healthcare system is non-existent. So that brought in the Agenda 111. So if we even look into our manifesto, the Agenda 111 cannot be found there. We introduce it, immediately we encounter COVID, and we realize that there is a need for us to increase our health facilities, especially in deprived district. You are lucky to be in Accra, but if you are to find yourself in Wa West, and you should find yourself or any of your relatives in a very hard condition, my brother, you might not make it. Because there is no district hospital in Wawes. That is the solution Agenda 111 is trying to bring about. So it's not just a slogan. These are projects that are ongoing. Now, my sister spoke about the student loan. Student loan is something that has been in existence for a very long time. At first, you need about 2 guarantors, 2 working guarantors to be able to access the loan. What we are saying is that students find it very difficult getting these 2 people to access the loan. So what we are saying that through digitalization, as my friend asked, through digitalization, we've been able to capture each and every one details. So when you go through school and you complete and you have Ghana card, what it means is that immediately you start working. No, even if you want to do national service, immediately you start doing national service, this ID card will be the number that you use to do your national service. Once you finish and you are enrolled on any job, any formal job, and you are paying your SNET, you pay it with your card. Your card becomes your SNET, your tax ID, and it can quickly be linked. It is already even linked to your SNET number. So what it means is that, of course, yes, Ghana card is linked to SNET. You can shake your head, but that is it. Ghana card is linked to SNET. Once you have Ghana card, it is already linked to SNET. So once you get work, you're able to procure this loan as your. In fact, when I was schooling, I took student loan when I was schooling. Completed, and you are surprised, I took student loan. So that is it. Once you complete and you have a card and your details are captured, once you start working, we can immediately chase you and you're able to pay it. Now, the next one has to do with corruption. My brother, corruption is something that...
We've actually gone beyond the time, so I'll ask that if you could quickly answer these questions, because...
Corruption is something that all of us have to come together to fight. Until recently, Fire got market women onto goods in 2013. When money was earmarked for them under the Mahama administration to pay, somebody pocketed the money to parents, widows, widowers, whose properties has been burnt by fire. That's government make available. I want
response to say.
The truth is that if you are discussing corruption and you don't put it in its proper perspective, whatever you say will not make sense.
The conversation on corruption has been well grounded since, the Fourth Republic. So
of course, that is what I'm trying to say.
So that we can all...
Yes, because even the report, the report, the gentleman who asked the question referred to, I think it was 2022 report, right? So if he's referring 2022 report in 2024, then I'm so right to refer 2013, something that happened in 2013, in 2024. If that could serve as the basis. So what I'm saying is that we had a public official whose office is directly under the presidency pocketed widowers' money, and she has been found guilty.
Right.
What it means is that corruption is not something that is peculiar to one political party, and that all of us have to come together, and that is the main reason why we brought in digitalization. Now, if you want to spend any government money, you have to go through the gift mix system. And the gift mix system is just simple. That is where the accountant general distributes government money. So there will be traces of wherever account this money goes to. These are some of the things that we have put in place to regularize the system, to make it so much easier. What we are also saying is that through digitalization. You wouldn't, today we have a whole
Thank
lot
you.
of.
Thank you. Because
You wouldn't want me to answer his question.
No, you've. I will just have to leave it at that, and then ask Mr. Safo Kantanka to briefly respond to the conversation on lithium and how his leader is going to ensure its utilization. Just briefly, if you could do that in a minute and 30 seconds for me, please.
No, he didn't talk about just lithium. He said other resources.
Yes. So natural resources.
Right. Thank you. So if you followed Honorable Alan Martin's campaign, he started talking about a spatial development agenda where every region, by their peculiar resource deposits they have, we get to harness it to develop it, even for the use of Africa and the sub-region. So for lithium, specifically what we're going to do, as he said, is we are going to start local production of batteries, car batteries. And then that's outrightly what he's going to do with lithium. But you look at Volta region, and you realize they are very good at skills, carpentry, some of these artifacts. And so Alan says, hey guys, I'm going to set up a center for skill development here so that everybody's skill is brought to light to help develop the region and the sub-region. You look at Western region, they have deposits of petroleum, deposits of mining, or so many other minerals. Alan says, let's set up a petrochemical center so that they will feed the whole of West Africa with that particular exploration and research around that. Eastern region has peculiar climate. And so Alan says, okay, let's set up a center for scientific research there. The Ashanti region, because of their peculiar cosmopolitan nature,
so there's a focus on human resource as well and how
precisely
to
create a jobs and cash
let's
economy. So Ashanti, if I can land, please.
There's a point on
Ashanti
human
becomes
resources.
the industrial hub for Ghana.
Thank you. Because of time, and then we proceed to take concluding remarks from all of you, and then we wrap up. 1 minute, 30 seconds on if you're now favorable towards
but
teachers.
we need to settle the fact on this Eurojet Concordia story.
That's why I say I'll give you concluding remarks to address that.
Number one, under John Mahama's government, teachers had automatic employment. Under this regime, a lot of teachers are home without employment. The public sector payroll, right? Please, you should respect the rules of engagement. There was a government setting of all public sector payrolls, including teachers. So so they are checking how many actually at post public sectors were approved, so that we take out ghost names from our public sector payroll. Out of empathy, when sectors were not being paid, the damage of for teachers, whilst you are going through that auditing process, at least pay them 3 months' salary. So when you are done, you pay them the entire amount of money. Their monies were paid. Then people spend it and made people believe that teachers have been teaching for so many years and they are not being paid. That's what happened. So the teacher and probably another person working on the private sector payroll, that person wasn't paid. The teacher was paid 3 months, pending the conclusion of the audits. After the audits, they were paid. Number two, what option do you want? John Mahama giving you employment. These people saying stay home, and then they have also generated a fake licensing regime.
Right.
That keeps 50% of teachers at home.
Thank you. So we're going to do the concluding remarks, 2 minutes each for all of us, and then we wrap it up. So you're going to time concluding remarks from all of you in 2 minutes so that we can wrap up the conversation.
See, my friends, forget about the fact that this is a fantasy of a debate or whatever it is as a program. What truly is at stake on 7th December is a historic moment for this republic, for young people. It is not a game. The destiny of our country is on the line. A group of people have privatized our public wealth for themselves, run the economy down, and more importantly, they've broken down all pillars of merits. Now, morals don't matter in this republic. People steal our public resources and nobody cares. If you truly are concerned about a government that hold accountable $200 million that goes in people's private pockets, that a so-called digital system couldn't solve, and almost 1 billion Ghana citizens were paying to SML that a so-called digital system couldn't solve, friends and cronies of the government who are all over the place, you must have a chance in deciding the future of the republic. And more important for young people, when you're going, you're told that women shouldn't have access to places. Maybe you could probably become the next CEO of the Bank of Ghana, or probably the next CEO of all the Fortune 500 companies in America. We have a chance on 70s to vote for Nana as your vice president, to prove to young people, young women, that they have a place in the construction of our country's future. We have waited for it, and this moment we cannot miss. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 2 minutes exactly.
Thank you.
Comrade Hammond,
Thank
can
you
do
very
2
much.
minutes.
I want to remember all of us that it's the Osu Steady Youth Group and the Ashanti Youth Association and the Youth of Sekendi that gingered Osaji for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to form the Convention People's Party. This is a clarion call to every youth in this room to come back to the fold that actually believes in you, that will give you opportunity to rise and become who you must be on this land. We are calling on all youth to join the Convention People's Party from your constituencies so that we build the Ghana that we want. We have tried the duopoly for 32 years and we have seen what they can do. What they can do is giving us haircuts. What they can do is making sure that we do not have facilities that will take care of us when we are sick, because they have money and they can fly outside. What they can do is to make sure that our education comes to pop. Our education is meaningless, because then you are done with school and you will not get employment. Come back to your first love, the Convention People's Party, and let's build this great nation together, and by extension, Africa. Thank you very much.
Right then. Concluding remarks, Mr. Makban.
Thank you very much. At this point, Ghana has gotten enough from this NDC NPP. And what we need now is the third force to come make the difference. And that is why Mr. Alfred Kwame Asiedu Walker says, let's think Ghana first and stop the politicization of everything that we do in this country. Enough is enough. It is time to do Ghana. It is time to build Ghana. It is time to let the youth of this Ghana know that your future is at stake. NDC has done their bit. NPP, Nanadu said we should try him. This is where we are today. Today, we must know that United One Ghana is here to make the difference. United One Ghana, we say Ghana first. United One Ghana is here to reclaim and to rebuild. Thank you very much.
All right then, 2 minutes, Ms. Ofori.
Wherever you are listening, I want you to understand that this is between us and the future. It is between digitalization and Akokon Kitinkiti. We have a man who has been an assemblyman. The man has been an MP. The man has been a minister. The man has been a vice president. The man has been a caretaker president. The man has been the president of this nation. And still tells us that he left something at the Flagstaff House which he has to go and take it. The man have just 4 years. If through any, God forbid, means he even get the opportunity, he has just 4 years. With all these years, this man, Ghana has given opportunity. We've tried him from assemblyman to president. He couldn't deliver what my brothers at DC are saying that he will be able to deliver. We are presenting to you the future. We are presenting to you a man who believes that Ghana can compete. Ghanaian youth can compete with youths from the US, from the UK, and other parts of the world. We are talking about the man who believes that through digitalization, we'll be able to train about 1 million youth in coding. We are talking about the man who believes that we'll be able to bring about a tax amnesty where SMEs and other individuals, tax-paying individuals, will be able to get a tax holiday and will be able to start afresh. We are talking about the man who believes that if we give him the nod, Ghana will never be the same as he said. He believes in you.
Thank you.
He believes in you.
Thank
Wherever
you very
Dr.
much.
Baumia is, he
Ms.
believes in
Ofori,
you.
thank you very much. Mr. Safo Kantanka, briefly in 2 minutes as well.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say this. Our politics for the past 32 years, all right, has been this adversarial system that gives no room for good men to flourish and to serve their country. What am I saying? Everybody comes, they just want to serve themselves and then their immediate family. And then they leave the other half in perpetual opposition. Now, luckily for us, we have a man in Alan Kojocha Martin who at the age of 22 started his career as a top executive. So if anybody amongst the current options understands what it is for a young person to come out with the full potential, then it's Alan Kojocha Martin. In 1994, the Times magazine appointed this man amongst 100 people as the trailblazers for this millennium. Why would they do that? Why would an internationally acclaimed magazine do that? Because they saw his reputation out there. They saw his contribution to trade policy, national reforms. They saw his reputation in terms of job creation across Africa. Our politics drives such people away, and that's why someone like Kofi Annan never paid attention to local politics. Guys, the time is now, and it's so crucial that we set aside this duopoly and chart this country around a national development plan with Alan Chemate, and I need you to pay attention to his policies. Our greatest bane we do ourselves is that we are not reading. We are not reading. Let's read into them. Let's read into his portfolio, and I know we will make the right choice for ourselves and posterity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so, a big round of applause to the various representatives who came through for us today. All right. Well, just going to end it all in a brief while with the presentation of certificates to the respective reps, the various parties. And so I'll just crave your indulgence to remain there whilst the executive director and then the other respected colleagues, the Legions GH, put together all of that. Then we can wrap it all up. We'll take a vote of thanks from a group photo as well, I understand. All of them will have to come together, and then we do a quick group photo as well. And then we can, while we wait for the certificates, a quick group photo to make way for the handing over of certificates to them. And I'm sure you could shoot from there, right? Yes. So yeah, maybe you just stand in front. Unity and the symbolism of unity is very important, and so perhaps being together with the holding of hands will signify a more united front going into election 2024, and the fact that we need peace come what may. And so, yes. A round of applause as I take the photo together. Right. I'm sure. So I understand there was a challenge with taking the photo, and so if we could just come back so we take it again and then we wrap up. Ready himself to fire and aim, so certificates, and so maybe you just receive the certificates briefly with the photo opportunities along with as well. We can wrap up. wrap up the conversation. Good evening. When I say the legions, you say guardians of democracy. The legions. The legions. The legions. Great. I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for your presence. For the debaters, we do not take your presence for granted. It's been a very intellectually stimulating debate, and we hope to do more of these. I'm happy to inform you that as at today, the advisory board has decided that by September we'll have a presidential debate. I want to hear a round of applause for that. Yeah. Small beginnings, but I'm sure we'll take over this country. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your presence. Thank you. Have a good evening. Final word of prayer. Final word of prayer, and then we can wrap it all up. Come do the prayer for us.
Okay, can we please cup our hands? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. We thank God for a very successful event, and we hope that everything shared here would actually be implemented, and we hope the Legion grows to bigger heights. Amen.
All right. For coming, enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay, so allegiance, you have to take a group picture, and so just ready yourself.